219! 219!
Forward Progress. A Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
Time to talk about your 3-2 Chicago Bears.
Let's go.
They're a winning team right now after consecutive 25-24 road victories. Today's episode is always brought to you by Church Brewing, New Buffalo's brewery-pizzeria in a historic church. Wood-fired Neapolitan pizza, small batch craft beer, brunch every day. Visit beerchurchbrewing.com. Ben Johnson has had some time now to digest his team's victory. We're told that DJ Moore is back from Washington after spending the night in the hospital for precautionary observation. We didn't get a lot of detail as to what is going on with his supposed groin injury. We had some speculation we were talking about earlier on DBU, what it could be. Obviously, we hope that he's okay, but now it's time for them to get to work reinforcing the positive, trimming away the negative, and trying to figure out what matters and what can be put together to start forming an identity of an offense and an understanding of a play that can be called. Like we said immediately after the game, when you start getting the muscle memory of stuff that worked and knowing it's not just a matter of hope, when you say, okay, we can go in adverse conditions, on the road, in the rain, they know we want to run the ball, and we can run over that right side, or we can run over that left side, and we can start moving stuff. The more you keep doing that, the more you begin to put in a foundation off of which to rebuild. No matter what you thought after training camp and what you thought looking at your roster, I know I've been very staunch about this idea that all play callers, all game planners are shocked at the outset by what they can't do. And they have to confront that. This is in football, this is in basketball, it's in every level. Everybody thinks they've got all the magic plays and all the bells and whistles. I hope what we're seeing now are the fruits of the process of synthesis, antithesis, or thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Bring it back now. All right, here's what we can do. We know who our left tackle is. Here's what we can do. We know what our running back rotation is going to be. Here's what we can do. We know what personnel groupings we want to be in. This is the beginning. This is the second part of the beginning right now. And to also have it lead to victories reinforces what you should be doing.
Yeah, and we talked about the coaching job done by Ben Johnson, Dennis Allen in that game against Washington. Gave them so much credit for that win. It was great preparation, using the bye week to understand their own team, to understand that they need to get better at the run game. And they had a perfect opportunity against Washington. And looking more into Washington after the game, Dan, the Bears took advantage of what Washington has a deficiency on in the defense, and that is the outside run game. They invested a lot, money-wise and player-wise, on the interior defensive line. And their edges have had a difficult time in executing defense on the runs outside. And not only there, it goes into the second and third levels as well, with secondary players not filling gaps, not reading correct run routes to help out in the front, close those gaps, close those run lanes. And the longer a team can extend and use patience against the Washington front, they can get outside runs and be successful. Now, clearly, Ben Johnson saw that in the run game and utilized that and maximized it for the Bears' run game and gave DeAndre Swift opportunities to use some speed, using a weakness of the Redskins or of the Commanders. I've done it again now. I'm going to do it. Was it twice? I owe you $2 now?
That's two.
All right. Shit.
We're going to have a pizza party.
But they saw the weakness and they took advantage of it and they game planned for it properly. And then on the defense, I think getting Edwards back was huge, and being able to help stop the run made a significant difference. You take out the scrambles from Jaden Daniels. We talked about this. They held their running backs, and it was Frosty, to 61 yards. That's significant because they were running the football up and down the field in their first 4 games. But I love that they saw a weakness in Washington and used it to their advantage to be able to build on strengths of not only their offensive linemen, but their running back as well, which we've talked about. And that goes into understanding what you do well and being able to utilize that against a team's weakness, and they did a fantastic job with it in that win against Washington.
So now what do you do when you know that some of these principles are starting to work? I tend to keep finding Shanahan stuff every time I'm looking at X and O explanations of what the Bears are doing well in their run game and what can be done off of that. Everything leads back to Kyle Shanahan stuff, who obviously has found ways to idealize some of his personnel. And it shows you when some of his personnel are hurt and he's working with secondary and tertiary guys, it doesn't quite look the same when he loses some of that versatility. But even back to Mike Shanahan and Alex Gibbs, and if you get it going, if you really get it going in that direction, boy, do you have some chances with the boot game, with the play action game, RPOs, with the athleticism and the off-platform throwing ability of Caleb Williams. There's so much cool stuff that you can get going when everything is headed downhill in one direction, to pop some of that backside stuff. I think that's when we're going to see these dreams of incorporating a tight end down the field and winning matchups. You know, Colston Loveland is a guy who's out there to win individual matchups as a pass catcher. To be able to have him against somebody who is either slower or smaller or both, or isn't going to be able to react on the ball in tight spaces. So when you can see the vision is what I'm saying. You can see what the ideas that he has.
Let me ask you a question about Caleb's ability to throw on the rollout and running out. And maybe I'm seeing something that's not there. We talked about the expected completion percentage, which is number one in the NFL at 71%. His actual completion percentage at 61%. That's a huge gap. I think that might be the biggest gap in among starting quarterbacks that qualify for attempts. But am I wrong in noticing that when he's rolling out, especially to his right, he's becoming less accurate? Or am I making that up, or am I seeing that correctly?
Well, I think some of the accuracy issues that I've seen on the rolls to the right have been late desperation throws, where especially
he's just trying to escape the pocket and not get murdered. And
well, when we saw the throw, I think it was the first game. Was that the throw to Roma? Yes,
it was.
It was against the Vikings.
Yep.
It was 17 yards. It was a 3rd and 5 on the Minnesota 30.
And it was an absolute bullet.
Oh, it was a 17-yard absolute perfection. I wrote down HST, holy shit throw.
Yeah.
And I think that sort of whetted our appetite. There have been a couple other opportunities because, especially in a breakdown situation, in a scramble, the combination of receivers coming back for the ball and or turning upfield, he runs out of space is what happens. And you can try to put it there on the edge where only he's going to get it, and half the time you're hitting a water boy in the shoulder with the throw. I don't know that there's anything mechanical going on. I just think it's usually a late can't hurt, could help, rather than tucking and sliding for 2 yards.
Okay, so it's more reactionary than it is a mechanic issue or an accuracy issue. It's just more reactionary to that given situation.
I would say I'd say reactive.
Yeah, just keep an eye on it. Maybe make more notes to it, and just to keep that in mind, because maybe I'm just seeing something that's not there, and is really just a byproduct of him trying to make something out of nothing.
If it were a planned rollout, that would be different.
Yeah.
If that just happens to be his escape lane, I'm not going to worry about it as much. But I do.
But that should be a strength, though, for him rolling right. And I'm not going to criticize him going left and throwing. That's hard for anyone. But going right,
I don't want him going left and throwing.
Regardless of the situation, if he's forced out or not, he should still be a little more accurate rolling that way on the run.
He should be more accurate overall.
Well, yes,
but maybe that's a function of just accuracy issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get back to wondering, is that something that improves? Is that something that can get better? I want to see the communication improve on some of those short throws against zone or man, whether it's Zacchaeus or whether it is a tight end. understand, either keep your feet moving or stop. If it's zone and you're looking at an option route, a lot of stuff that the Chiefs run are when they're rolling are these option routes where your tight end, whoever your intended receiver is going to have a choice. Know what defense they're in. If it's a zone, stop. If it's man and you have an angle, keep running. You're going to have a chance there. You're going to be able to have a better coordination between the quarterback and the pass catcher to know where the next guy is.
Yeah, like we saw that with Loveland on that 3rd and 5 when he made the 6-yard reception, caught it, and then laid down and cradled his baby. Like, yeah, he did the right thing. He stopped. Now, maybe you can get a couple more, maybe a yard or two more if you use your feet, but he was more concerned with controlling that ball and then keeping it, the possession, and just drop down.
Especially because the Ben Johnson offense, in large part, when he talks about explosive plays, and it took them a while to get one in that game.
Yeah.
I think their first 20-yard play was, end of the third quarter? And that's the thumb, just the easy way of the rule of thumb is anything 20 or more is considered an explosive
play, yeah.
And when you watch what the Lions have done, it has been a lot of these long developing in routes, dragging a tight end across the formation and back, that it does take some protection and or some dancing around for the quarterback to build that time. But those explosives come in running away once you have it, just like DeAndre Swift did on a play that they were close to not getting off in time. That's the one that famously the evil Troy Aikman said that an aspect of it was luck. Oh, evil. We
have some sound from Ben Johnson when he met with the media, and this first one here I want to play for you is just some opening comments, and then he's asked about DJ Moore and an injury update.
Noah Sewell didn't finish the game with a concussion, so we'll be following him throughout the week here to see when we can get him back. And then, as you guys heard, DJ didn't make it back on the plane with us. He stayed for precautionary reasons at the hospital. Good news is that he's back in Chicago now, and we'll take him day by day. But we did get good news there from that visit, and that was a groin injury. In regards to the game, was just piggyback really on the thoughts from last night. I thought the guys played really hard. Proud of the coaches, proud of the players. Find a way to win there. That's 2 weeks in a row that game comes down to the wire, and find a way to come out on top. So it was a true team win. All three phases came through in clutch moments when we needed it. The 3 takeaways was a huge deal for us. I think the offense was able to translate that into 13 points, which we definitely needed. I thought over the course there, that second half, there was a little bit of up and down, with the way that game was going. We hit some adversity, and yet that play by Swifty, the 55-yard touchdown, that was really the spark that we needed to reignite us, really the whole team, and you kind of felt the defense come back to life again, and we're able to come through at the end. So the belief is there, and that was really good to see.
Ben, can you offer any insight into why a groin injury made it hard to fly last night?
Yeah, that's a little bit more of a personal story there.
That was it. Yeah, and he had a smile on his face. If you saw the video, you can watch the video of him responding to that question. So I don't know what's going on. A little more of a personal story there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe his penis fell off. I don't know.
He got hit so hard in the midsection, his pee-pee fell off.
I don't know whether okay. It sounds like it could be. Now I'm just morbidly interested in a way that I wasn't before.
Well, you're always interested about penises.
Well, I don't know. That's really a personal situation. I kept waiting for odd other details. It also involves tapioca pudding. Like what?
There was a cat, a broom, and some tapioca pudding, and we decided to keep him in Washington.
We can't get into that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's a personal story.
And a tiki torch. What? Did I say that? What? Come on, man.
Ben was asked about his relationship in the growing relationship with Caleb Williams.
He and I, we just got done meeting a minute ago.
Got done meeting a minute ago.
I think what you're noticing is the more time that we're spending together, the more that we're getting on the same page of why we like things, why we're calling it, what we're looking for, and I think it's going to help him to play faster. And when you're playing fast, normally everything will slow down for you, and you're going to be in good shape. And so we're still working through that. There's a number of plays there from last night that I think we're really going to get better from. We're banking reps as we go. We're not making the same mistakes. And I think he's getting this broader understanding for maybe some things that we don't talk about that particular week, but yet if we hit them on another week, they do carry over. And so we're just continuing to get more and more knowledge as we go. And so I think that's really key for that relationship. I thought last night, I thought he did a great job handling the pressure of that particular game. You know, there are a lot of things that were going into it with the hostile environment, with him being back at home, with the weather. I mean, you threw a number of things at us, and yet he was still able to stay composed, as you talked about. You know, it's an emotional game. It's a game where the momentum kind of fluctuates back and forth, and yet we're doing our best to stay steady throughout. And so, you know, it's a constant battle when it's going on for 60 minutes like that. But I think he is getting better in that regard.
Which plays is he talking about? He said there were several plays because of which we're going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
Which plays?
Yeah, that's a good follow-up.
I wonder if they were successful plays or unsuccessful plays.
Well, you always learn more from a failure, Dan, than you do a success.
That's a great rule of thumb, but I'd like to know what he thinks. And we're also learning a critical coaching point from Ben Johnson, because he keeps saying this, and we also have heard him say it in the locker room, about keeping emotionally level, about not being too high and not being too low. Because I think he understands, we keep talking about the league and the blob and how weird all these games are, and how no matter what, everything seems to come down to one score. In the Bears' case, down to 1 point, and all sorts of bizarre things happen in games, to the point where we almost can't call it bizarre anymore. It's the way
the nature of the NFL.
It's the nature of the NFL. It is part and parcel of being in the NFL football business now, is that there are a ton of things beyond your control. There are wild emotional swings in a game. Now, I'll handle that. I'm great at wild emotional swings during a game. That's my job. But what Johnson keeps telling his team is to stay level. Whether you're up or whether you're down, execute, execute, execute. And it comes to, I think it's the same reason why you can talk about the Lions' mentality of never stop scoring points. There's never a safe time. Rarely do you see the Dogs called off like they were against the Bears, because they're always pushing, 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 always execute what we do in the same way, the same intensity all the time. And that is how you build resiliency. It gets back to body language.
Mm-hmm.
When he talked about palms up, well, I guess this isn't our day. I guess some of and talks about losing habits and the body language of a losing team. And he complimented them on Monday night for always staying in it, always being ready. And that's a good sign. If he now can coach off of success, and you saw him compliment that, he reinforced that.
Yeah.
He said you didn't get too down. You were always strive to be in the middle all the time emotionally.
Yeah, and we saw, and I know this is easier to do after a couple wins, close wins, albeit on the road, but still wins for the Bears. That, remember early in the year, it was, well, when it rains, it pours, and things happen, and sometimes it's out of your control. I know, I get 2 wins. You're not going to have that type of perspective, but those haven't been 2 perfect games where he could look at his team and say that was 2 really clean games on all 3 aspects of football. But he hasn't done that either. He hasn't looked at the things that have gone wrong and, well, those things just happen, and when it rains, it pours. And because there were opportunities in that Washington game where they did stack mistakes on top mistakes a couple times. And he hasn't gotten into that himself as the head coach. He was also asked about a play that I led the full meatball charge on Monday night. He was asked about it, and he addressed it.
The officials, they warn you earlier in the game whether someone is towing the line in that regard, and so we did get a warning, and clearly they thought that he was a little too far back on that one.
So that's, of course, the Theo play. They got a warning. He didn't abide by the warning and got called for the flag.
That was third
illegal
and
formation
6
on the touch down the road.
3rd and 6 on the 11-yard line. It was illegal formation on Theo Benedict, and it was speculated during the broadcast that, hey, sometimes they do warn you. Sometimes they're saying,
Aikman said that evil doer, Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
He even said that, hey, sometimes you do get a warning from the officials.
all right, so we can take that off the board. I can remove my little my multitude of question marks there. He was warned.
He was warned
That's
about it. And
It's
still, yeah.
It's over. If they say, hey, I know you haven't played a lot of NFL left tackle, young man, and I can say this in Canadian if you want me to, but you got to move up a little bit.
So he was warned, didn't do it. They throw the flag, and
That's
it cost
it.
a touchdown. So
You're lucky he was warned.
all the anger about it, and so I led the meatball charge against the officials. I take that all back. He was warned and still didn't do it. Then he was asked a question about the very important 4th and 1 play as well, too.
Also wanted to ask you about the 4th and 1 in the first half, the play that you had dialed up. What were you hoping there for? Obviously, you gave up a field goal opportunity, had a short yardage situation, and then weren't able to convert in that situation.
Yeah, we felt good about that play call there, and in hindsight, still do. That's one of
Very
those
Matt
that we're going to
Eberflus.
learn from as an entire offense, but not afraid to be aggressive in that situation. They came down and they were playing a version of, you could call it cover zero, with all their safeties down low like that, and we were looking to capitalize on it, and we just didn't come through on it.
Well, I got an answer to my question.
Yeah,
He said that's one of the plays from which they can learn.
there you go.
Well, I'm very interested to know who's learning what. Sounds like that might be a Caleb thing.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was a nice use of we, and I guess I had called that play on 4th and 1 in the second quarter. I called it too cute. I thought throwing into a congested area was unnecessary, but maybe the area was congested because the timing wasn't right.
Possibly.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and we've learned that from Ben over the last 5 games now, that he does speak a lot in regard of protecting his quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great.
That's all right.
That's great. He was also asked about the play of the tackles in this game against Washington.
I think both of them played really well from start to finish. I think our run game as a whole, and not just the tackles, but the entire unit, that's the best that we've played collectively as a group. And I think we gave those runners some daylight, and they were able to hit the holes, and that's why we were so efficient running the ball. It's the most efficient we've been throughout. I think I had us around like 69% efficient, which was really high for us, and
Nice.
obviously had the high yards per carry. It was over 5 yards per carry, so that was good to see, and the tackles played a huge role in that. Like I've said before, Theo, I mean, he doesn't bat an eye. It's like nothing's too big for him. And I think that about a lot of guys on this team. They're very clutch, where the pressure and the for a lot of players, it can get to you. It doesn't get to them, and they're kind of built for these type of moments. And so he's in that mold. Darnell, it was good to have him back. He really didn't miss a beat. You feel his presence. Not only can he displace people in the running game, but you see what he's capable of out in space as well, whether it's a screen or whether it's one of the toss crack series plays that we had up. So very, very grateful to have him back.
Yeah, they played great. I mean, it was unbelievable. Darnell Wright was spectacular in that game and getting to the second level and taking on sometimes 2 blocks on those really successful run plays for DeAndre Swift. He was fantastic.
And now, as the Saints are seeing that, I hope that you're going to show the equal and opposite pass plays that can come from the success there and come from their coaching up. Hey, look, they're going to try to leverage you. They're going to try to get on the wrong side. Some of these seal blocks that you can get in outside zone where you're giving the running back an ability to almost use a blocker passively, to almost just because if you're setting up the angles properly and you're sort of counting the steps, it's not DeAndre Swift's greatest skill, but if he's getting a little better at reading and reacting, boy, that's going to open up the pass game.
Yeah, and some programming notes for you. We have our Top 10 Saints, which will air on Dan Bernstein Unfiltered this Friday. Our Forward Progress on Friday, we'll take a deeper look into the matchup between the Saints and the Bears. And then Sunday, following the noon game, there will be a Forward Progress live post-game show like we do after every Bears game. Last question for Ben Johnson. He was asked about Cairo Santos. Doesn't really give a whole insight to the kicking matchup or the kicking game where it goes, just specifically right now about Cairo.
I haven't heard. We haven't had our meeting tonight yet, just on the State of the Union here with all of our players and their injuries. But I'll be curious to see how he's doing at this point. But we got a lot of faith and confidence in him. So whenever we can get him back, we're going to be in good shape.
Well, it's not a full-throated commitment, is it?
It's not at all.
It certainly stops short. Whenever we can get him back, that'd be great.
That'd be great. We're confident in him. You're also pretty confident in Moody, too.
Apparently so. If you want a terrific party for the fall, for the winter, for any time, here's something a little different for you and delicious. You're going to go to the Beer Church, and you're going to enjoy the pizza-making experience. I have done this, and it's an absolute blast. Beer Church Brewing in New Buffalo, it's just a quick jump from Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana. You're right there. And at their pizza-making school private party, you and your whole group, it could be an enormous group of people. They can handle 300 plus if you want to talk your boss into doing a holiday party there. Or it could just be family, friends, your fantasy football guys, whatever it might be. At the pizza-making school private party, you're going to get hands-on in the wood fire kitchen because you're going to learn all about stretching the dough. I tried to toss it. That didn't go well for me. But they'll show you if you want. They can show you how to do it, how to spin it, and about why you're doing that and what you're trying to stretch out. They're going to talk about I learned all the science and the chemistry of making a good pizza, and then you top it with all the legendary ingredients and you dig in. You can eat every single pizza on the menu until you tell them stop bringing pizza, and it will take a while because they're so good, and they do not take long to cook because that wood-fired oven is so hot. And I like, what do you mean it's ready already? Like, oh no, that's all it takes. And you get that little sort of charred blistering on the edge of the crust, and the fresh mozzarella is just soft. Maybe the basil's curling a tiny little bit. Oh man, it's so good. And you can pair your pizza with the small batch brews that you won't find anywhere else than at Beer Church. 2 hours, lunch or dinner, private, exclusive. So go to beerchurchbrewing.com and make sure you can get scheduled. Again, talk to your people at work or whatever your organization is. It is a great place to do something different and memorable. And the outside deck that they have, the heated deck and the flat screen TVs, fantastic place to watch games and enjoy the pizza and enjoy everything else on the menu. Or I should say the hymnal. Yes. Because they really lean in to the whole church aspect. It's a blast. The food is great. A wonderful time at Beer Church Brewing. Go to beerchurchbrewing.com. It's beerchurchbrewing.com for wood-fired Neapolitan pizza, small batch craft beer. It's a great place for kids also. Make a trip there. Have your party there. They're friends, obviously friends of the program here. And it's terrific. I can't recommend it highly enough. Like I say, I've been there. They taught me to make pizza. I learned a lot, and I ate a lot. So you do the same.
I want to congratulate the Bears because I don't know if you looked at the numbers here NFL wide. The Bears are no longer 32nd in defense yards per carry. They got jumped by the Buffalo Bills. And remember, because it was a pretty wide gap. They were at 6.2.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. So they've dropped down to 5.7 yards per carry. That's significant to drop from 6.2 to 5.7.
That is.
The Bills right now leading the NFL, a worst 5.8 yards per carry. The Bears at 5.7. The Dolphins at 5.6. The Giants at 5.1. The Chargers at 5. And then you start getting into the fours.
Well, we're looking at numbers here. Snap counts. Kevin Fishbane always puts these up, so I check his Twitter feed for this. The Bears on offense had 100% participation, all 64 snaps for Dahlman, Jackson, Benedict, Tooney, Caleb Williams, and Darnell Wright. Roma Dunze was in for all but 2 snaps at 97%. DJ Moore, 94%. And then Olamide Zacchaeus at 84%. Starts to drop off. Believe it or not, DeAndre Swift, just 56%. Or excuse me, 36 total snaps, 56%. And was that his
very efficient,
probably best game as a Bear.
Yes.
Cole Kmet was out there about half the time, 52%. More blocking than being involved carrying the football or catching the football. Colston Loveland at 42%. Kyle Monungai, the number jumped up to 34%. Luther Burden only 15 snaps at 23%. Durham Smythe at 12, and Roshan Johnson was in for 3 plays. We saw him get a carry. He's easy to see because he wears the Guardian cap.
Yep.
And he's at 5%. I do think that if, in fact, they're figuring out their run game with this remodeled offensive line, that we're going to have to see more of somebody else to give it some ability for Swift to not carry all of the burden. And I'm not sure if Monungai fits the zone cutback stuff, and maybe he is more effective in gap scheme because there was some duo and some ISO in there as well. They don't have any great choices, but I don't think this regime likes Roshan Johnson quite as much as the previous one did.
What? How many snaps did Monungai get in on?
Monungai was on 22 of the 64 for 34%.
All right, so 22 snaps, 5 attempts. And you said Swift was 36 snaps?
Swift was 36 snaps.
Okay, and 14 attempts.
Yep.
Okay.
So it is telling teams when Swift is in the game, he's very likely to touch the football.
Yeah.
On defense, 100% for Brisker, Edwards, Stevenson, Edmonds, Wright, and Byard. We saw a lot more rotation along the defensive line. Dio Dengbo, 75%, Sweat, 74, Dexter, 68. Billings and Gordon, 60. Shamar Turner, we saw that name early when he missed the tackle, was visibly mad at himself. He was there for 22 snaps or 34%. Chris Williams, 32%. Dominique Robinson made a play.
Yep.
He was at 29. Jonathan Ford, the best play that he made, biggest hit he made was knocking out his own teammate.
Yes, best hit of the game.
That's a big man coming in to clobber a teammate. Thanks for that. We also had the reserve linebackers. Let's see. Jackson had 20%. McLeod was only in there for 5 plays. Jonathan Owens was out there for 3 plays. So we are seeing more rotation on the defensive line trying to keep people sharp.
Yeah, and we need Nashawn Wright to stop committing
Being
penalties.
bad?
Yeah. Like, what are the other options?
Well, not just committing penalties, but also jumping a wide receiver screen.
That was, well, yeah. Yeah, that was definitely him. Went back and watched that, and that led to McCaffrey being wide open, which I still think I could have scored on that play. I know you don't think I could, but I know I could have.
No.
I could have scored on that play.
No. You would have been chased down, and you would have been injured.
That's not true.
That's what would have happened.
I would have fallen down and cried before they hit me, so.
Okay, well, but
I would have done the Colson Loveland and just cradled the
I
ball.
still have the ball. You can't take it from me. I'm giving myself up. I'm down, damn it. Here's to Loveland getting more opportunities to matter more than that. Stop waiting around. Well, at least while he's healthy. Use him because he's going to be hurt again soon.
Yeah.
So use him while he's healthy. I was going to look, too, at what I'm curious about for Sunday.
Yeah.
And that is the latest weather forecast.
Okay. Yeah, I saw you
I wrote it on the
talking
board.
weather, and you were talking to yourself about the weather.
I do that. That's what old people do. Sunday the 19th, rain and wind are the first 2 words in the forecast. 57 degrees with a low of 44. It says windy with occasional rain in the morning, a few showers late. They just upgraded the wind, too.
Okay.
Up to 30-mile-an-hour winds out of the northwest.
And so these weather implications are taking your brain in what direction for the Bears?
Maybe some more importance in the run game, because usually wind is the limiting factor on passing, not rain or snow.
What about the kicking game?
The kicking game, yikes, yeah.
If they're confident in Santos and they want to get him back, and they'll get him back when they get him back. Moody, inconsistent, better leg. longer distance, but inconsistent, which is why he's available and on the Bears roster. So where does that come into play for you?
I think it comes into play.
And how much does that impact Ben Johnson, what he calls?
Well, I think you're going to have to be prepared. He gets updates every couple hours. He gets updates more than I do from the people who are monitoring the weather because it does matter. Tony Medlin going to have the longer cleats ready too.
Yeah.
T-Med. Coat drive.
Do the Bears take opportunity during the week when they're at home to kick at Soldier Field?
They did. Remember the whole Cody Parkey thing when we had helicopters circling?
Yeah.
Literally,
do they still do that? A guy like Moody,
I don't
who
think Cairo
hasn't
Santos
kicked much.
has to.
Yeah, he hasn't kicked much, but if he's your guy,
you're going to go stake out. So we could actually do.
I don't want to. No, I'm not interested. In
we could do it from Keith's office.
Oh,
we just hang out. We just set up shop in Keith's office up here and look out to the Prudential building and see if we see Jake Moody there kicking.
I always catch him looking out the windows at people at the Bean. He's always watching the Bean activity.
Well, it's right there.
Yeah, I know.
I like walking by the Bean, see where I can see my reflection behind the people taking selfies.
I don't. I avoid that area. It's too dangerous.
Oh, I know. It's so dangerous.
Yeah.
I know. You never know when a random pack of thugs is going to jump you.
Well, 1 out of every 22 people in the city of Chicago is in a gang.
Is that right?
Yes.
I did not read that.
Well,
I'm not in a gang. Am I in a gang?
Well, we're one of the 21.
Oh, okay.
So it's 1 in 22 are gang members.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Like I might.
And they mostly hang out by the Bean, which is why I don't go. Which is why Keith monitors it all the time.
What I'm worried about is now I'm going to get an anxiety dream, but instead of the college dream that I get once a month, where it's finals and I haven't done the reading, or I looked at my schedule and there was a class I didn't know I had. I still get that actual literal dream, either high school or college, at least once a month.
Do you really?
Yeah. Now I'm going to get the anxiety dream of I didn't know I was in a gang.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to do a drive-by, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go by and...
You missed your initiation meeting.
I was supposed to go collect protection money from, some front for a gambling operation.
And you overslept and didn't do your job.
I didn't make it, and now I'm in trouble, and I've got to go in to talk to Drexel, the killer pimp, and he's mad at me or something. And
what do you think your role would be in a gang?
Well...
I think you'd be a driver.
Based on what my role has been when I have had a leadership function and like charity boards and stuff, I'm very good at worrying about things. And it's valuable to organizations. I'm very good at, do we have legal exposure? Could this get us in trouble? Is this...
Well, that'd be everything. They wouldn't really need you very much,
But see, that's the thing. A gang doesn't need somebody with my unique set of skills when it comes to worrying about things. Because,
well, you're good at making lists.
Yes.
And driving.
I am good at driving.
Yeah.
I'm good at fishing.
Yeah, maybe. Planning the company outing and retreats.
That'd be my wife.
Well, no, but she can plan that and you can do it around fishing.
Well, here's the problem, and this is actually true. We are getting close to salmon snagging season. Chicago is one of the... No, I'm dead serious now.
Okay.
Chicago...
What?
You're doing it again.
I didn't.
You're like, okay, yes, I'll be serious. And you're not serious.
I am being serious. I want to hear about salmon
Shirley.
snagging season.
There's a group in which I'm involved called CAST, the Chicago Anti-Snagging Team. Chicago is one of the last cities that allows salmon snagging.
Okay, what is snagging?
It's literally not fishing. It's throwing out a grappling hook and yanking the hook through the water and snagging the fish through their bodies.
And there's that many of them that works?
Yeah,
okay.
After spawning season, because they come in to die, and usually in the river mouths and stuff. And it was, I don't know why we still allow it to happen, because it messes up the ecosystem, and it's been taken over by gangs. That in large part, actual gangs of people, if you are at a place and you see people doing it and you say something, they'll slash your tires, they'll show you a weapon. There are people who are illegally harvesting all the salmon, and I hope there isn't a black market selling it to places that are buying it on the cheap.
So gangs are taking this activity over. Yep. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. And
like running numbers, drugs, prostitution, salmon snagging.
They got to diversify their businesses. I'm not kidding. There was
interesting.
The more I learned about it, and the more I learned about what nefarious forces were involved in this, it was considered just a way for people to use the salmon that we're going to die anyway to find a little bit extra food and freeze it over the winter. And of course, we can't have things like that. And it's also easier to catch them than it is to snag them, because you can still, even in the winter, there are ways that you can catch salmon and trout in this lake, and people just have to learn that.
But if it's illegal.
It's
not illegal.
It's
Oh, it is legal. Okay.
If you
say that'd be pretty easy to spot somebody snagging salmon.
Yeah, but they'll drive a truck up there. They'll throw out all these massive grappling hooks. They'll work over an area. They'll leave all sorts of blood and guts everywhere, and they'll scream out of there. And unfortunately, because of funding cuts, there aren't enough conservation cops to enforce any of the actual rules.
And these are dangerous gang members carrying out this activity.
Not all.
Not all, but some are.
Yes.
So instead of maybe going into like legal businesses and pulling people out of kitchens and stuff, maybe ICE could go there.
I don't think it's a big enough problem for the federal government, but hey,
I wouldn't be surprised
if you're pulling aside the ice cream vendors and the people selling
fruit vendors
your
and
mangoes and melons, yes, then I don't know. Don't
all right,
get me
salmon
started.
snagging.
Yeah.
All right, well, you put that on my radar now.
It actually is a big deal, I'm telling you.
So I'm going to avoid the bean and I'm going to avoid salmon
You don't have
snagging.
to avoid the bean.
It's dangerous.
But this could be a wacky weather game. So definitely be aware for the depending on what they're prepping for, that might not be sort of a dainty precision passing early afternoon.
All right, well, we'll keep that in mind. Remember, if you haven't subscribed so far yet to Forward Progress, do so on our YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to Dan Bernstein Unfiltered. You can also subscribe where you get your podcast. Listen to OWC. It's Organizations Win Championships. It's the Bulls podcast. It's back. First episode dropped yesterday with Dan and his son Jason. It was a very entertaining show. Actually, it wasn't Jason. It was Balsac Biombo.
Yes, yesterday he was Balsac Biombo.
That was my first endeavor into OWC.
OWC?
Yeah, and it's something, man. You two together, it's something. Yeah. So it's funny because the Bulls information and basketball knowledge is all there. And it's packaged not with one Bernstein, but with two Bernsteins.
Yeah,
so
it's very Bernstein-y.
It's very, very, very Bernstein-y is
really
right.
Is, yeah.
We got to see Jason's roommate as well. That was a nice treat
Max,
for us.
Max came over,
popped his head over and said hello before he showered and did other things. But
well, at least Jason's got his own room this year. Because last year the roommate would occasionally come in.
Oh, that wasn't. He was. Oh, they don't share a room.
They share a bathroom. It's like a suite.
Oh, that's right. You did mention that. Yeah.
One room's on one side of the bath, the other's on the other side.
What is that called? A Jack and a Jill?
I don't know what they call
Jack and Jill rooms. Is that what that's called?
Yeah. All I know is that they can lock the other guy out from the other side. If you want to keep the guy out of your room, you can lock the other bathroom door. And they had a dead lizard.
So they can't get into their own bathroom?
No, they get into the bathroom.
Okay.
They just can't get in the other way.
I would always have that.
There was a dead lizard, because in New Orleans there's all those lizards that that are everywhere.
Yeah.
And so his roommate's very sort of squeamish and wouldn't touch it, wouldn't do anything. He just said, "What? It's no big deal." And he was chasing him around with it, and he was kind of like dangling it in his face while he was lying there and trying to get him to like wake up and have it on his, as one should do.
Yes.
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
And then he got mad at him and locked him out.
All right, well, make sure you subscribe to all the podcasts, 312 Sports, 312sports.com, all the information you need right there, but make sure you subscribe.
Oh, people are so mad at me about DBU already.
Oh, are they really?
And proving my point. He's so biased. Not biased. He's so biased. Yes, okay.
Walks on an angle.
He's Len Bias. I mean, come on, man.
All right, hey,
you're proving my point, dumbass.
We'll talk to you tomorrow. DBU Forward Progress. Remember, Saints top 10 all-time list is Friday during DBU.
Yep.
With Friday feedback. It's Thursday tomorrow, so we'll talk to you tomorrow on
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast.
Is that it? You got anything else to say? Are we done?
I think we're done. Okay.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.